How is everyone doing today? Have another awesome tomato to show everyone. This one is the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade tomato. Let me tell you about this tomato. We first got the seeds. We try to incorporate a new type of dwarf tomato and heirloom tomato into our yard each season. We never know what's going to make it and what isn't. This was the ones we got for last year. So even though we got seeds for it last year and tried to grow this one last year, we weren't able to get it to production. That does happen to us with a couple. There's a couple dwarf uh, tomato types that have been a little bit hard start for us. But once we've got them growing and saved the seeds and kind of evolve them into the yard, they become a lot better producers over time. But there is a couple that seem to be a little bit lower on production, or at least they are for us at first. Almost all the Dwarf Tomato Project tomatoes are really, really excellent. They all grow well. Most of them do well right off the bat the first season we grow them. But we're big time seed savers, and we haven't had this tomato yet before. So a lot of the reason that we grow stuff is to see unique things. And this one is the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade tomato. So it's a little bit wonky, but we're still going to save seeds from it. We do have a couple more, a little bit more flowering and starting, but
It's a
as
double
we're
tomato.
a double tomato, yeah. So it don't look that great, but it'll give us an opportunity to open it up, save seeds, and give it a try. So this is the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade tomato. Not sure about its genetics. I know that most, if not all, of the dwarf tomatoes are considered indeterminates, even if their size is stunted, and they do grow smaller than an heirloom or a determinate larger style variety. The dwarfs are it's almost like a mutation though, that they will only get so big and they'll just grow strong plant after that. But you do need to trim them back a lot of times to inspire more growth. Our yard this season has been super, super wild. So there is a couple more on here. Not sure if we'll get any more than this. So we wanted to be able to save our own seeds and have them to go ahead and try next season to get it more acclimated to the yard over the years. But the strawberry lemonade tomato, we'll take it in and give it a try. And it could be that this tomato is gross or there's something wrong that we decide that it doesn't need to be making the yard. So haven't ever tried it before. Really, really excited to give this one a try. Like I was saying, we grow to try things that are unique, and never sat down with this one. Have no idea about it other than it has a cool name, and it comes from the Dwarf Tomato Project. So love you guys. It is July 30th of 2024. Catch you guys in a second. All right, the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade Tomato. We are going to go ahead and save seeds on this. So let me give this a shot and see what it is like. Don't know much about it. Haven't seen any reviews on it. Literally, it had a cool name that kind of reminds me of a story of Kiddo. But in the camera, I can see right now it's turning out to look a lot redder than it is. It literally looks like pink with a little bit of yellowish underneath it.
It's a meaty tomato. Very meaty.
Yeah, it's got good meat too. It doesn't look really mealy. It looks almost like watermelon interior. It's
Yeah.
a lot more firm and juicy.
Smells good.
All right, the first chance with the strawberry lemonade tomato.
It's also very refreshing. It does have good flavor. It's not super acidic. It's kind of mild on the acid, but it has a really good flavor. Like almost as if it had a lot of acids in it, but it is lower on the acids, and it's juicy.
Give this a shot here real quick.
If we can get good uniform tomatoes from this, they would be really good slicers for like burgers and stuff.
It has a lot more flavor than I expected it to. It's really kind of zingy.
Yeah, it has a zingy flavor. It's not super potent, but it's really good.
I would assume the name strawberry lemonade comes from the coloration, but it might come from the because there's another dwarf tomato called the dwarf lemon ice, and I thought it was just because it's kind of shaped like a lemon, which the plant actually is. It's a yellow lemony shaped tomato, but when we were trying it, it had a certain kind of zing to it. This one, I don't know if I can compare it to the lemon ice though. That one was almost a little bit of a sour zing. This is like a sweet zing. It's like the promise of like being over acidic is always there, but it never really like arrives. It's pretty rich. I can imagine, I mean, this would make pretty decent slicer for burgers or sandwiches. I think it would make a better tomato sandwich. I would probably like a more smokier tomato on, if I had an
Burger.
option.
They'd make good BLTs.
If I didn't have an option, this tomato right here would make an excellent one. I hate using the term ketchup-y because ketchup is like
I'm not a fan of ketchup, so I don't taste ketchup in it at all, but
well, it's not really like that ketchup. It's like when you dip your fries in ketchup and you eat like a fry, you almost get like the sweet zing.
yeah.
Like almost like they put a little bit of sweet sugar, like something that's zingy in it. I'm really surprised by this one. I was expecting, because a lot of times there's one called the Ava Purple Ball and other ones that are almost pink. This one you can't see it on the camera, but it's almost a little bit translucent-y. Maybe
Yeah,
I'll
it's
get
more of a pink color than a red.
Yeah, it's more of a pink, and then it also seems like it has a lighter color up
shimmer.
underneath it, which I was guessing was like the strawberry lemonade is almost like yellow and pinkish. But man, it has more of the zing of it kind of reminds me of Roma tomato. I don't know why.
With much
Roma
more
tomato
flavor.
or a San Marzano. Yeah, it's a stronger flavor. This one would make a pretty good sweet tomato sauce.
Yeah, the pizza sauce.
Man, it's almost got a profile a little bit all its own. There's also one called the Ava Purple Ball that I kind of thought that this one would be more closer to, which there's nothing wrong with a more cleaner, refreshing type. Sometimes we don't like eating tomatoes. We get tomato stomach by the end of each season. So the acidity in some tomatoes isn't as appealing at certain times for us as others. Sometimes we like a really clean, refreshing tomato. We don't want a strong acidic taste or over richness, especially if you're trying to snack on several. You like the refreshing cleanness. I expected that to have more of that refreshing cleanness, and because of its color and just because of preconceived notions I kind of had about this one, but I'm actually really, really surprised about it. In comparison to the flavor of some of the other tomatoes that we've grown, the dwarf tomatoes this year would be the Dwarf Rosella Purple. We got the Purple Heart. We haven't tried that one yet, but it's out there in the yard. The Taz Chocolate. I would say overall, though, this one has it's up there. It's up there in the strength of those flavors, but it's not as appealing of a flavor to me personally. If you are into almost like a sweet zing, maybe you could call it a tiny bit sour, but it's almost like overly sweet, kind of a zing at the same time. It's hard to explain what kind of tomatoes I would relate this to, but you see how it looks redder on the camera? It's actually extremely pink to my eye right now, so I'll try to find some way if I can display color on my camera better to show what these look like, because you can...
A little bit better there.
Yeah, a little better. You can really tell on this tomato, though, just be kind of the darkness inside of it. It's a really rich tomato. It's got a lot of strength. It ain't super acidic, but it's always like a zing to acidity. It's hard to explain. Maybe you could almost relate it to a little bit of the pop or zing of like a cherry tomato.
Yeah, good. It's really good, and I did get some refreshing from it when I first, because it's juicy. It's really meaty also. It is a really good flavor. I'm surprised by it too, and
That junk right
definitely
there.
one we'll have to try to grow again.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and pull the seeds off of this one right here and save them. But yeah, really excited to have another one in the yard. This one will be a contender to make it into the yard each season. It has a lot of excellent qualities to it. If you like a really kind of slightly acidic, sweet zing to it. This one right here probably have it for you. I know that our grows are not indicative of what you can do or what your personal experience will be. I just like to share our personal experiences as we try things like this in order to be a drop in the bucket of, you know what I mean, the conversation. These videos ain't meant to tutor, they ain't meant to necessarily be the defining factor. I would always advise you go out and educate yourself on this one right here if it looks like something interesting to you. We make these videos mostly for friends and family to just kind of share the personal experience, and hopefully sometimes some good information might spill out. But this is the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade Tomato, July 30th, 2024. Take you outside one last time for a last look, and really excited about this tomato. I wasn't expecting it to be as strong as it was. Love you guys, and catch you in one more second. All right, the Dwarf Strawberry Lemonade plant. This is it right here. It's down and down. I'll probably come and try to get some of these growth tips off of here to maybe aspire a little bit of growth. As I always say, our grows ain't indicative of what you can do with this plant. We do like doing them in the 7-gallon pots if you have a choice over the 5-gallon buckets, although they will do good in a 5-gallon bucket. Our neighbor does that. She just kind of trellises it, cages it up a little bit like that, and maybe even uses a stake, because these plants can get really massive. As you can see, this one right here is putting on so much leaf weight. I need to take it off quite a bit because it is starting to kind of fold itself down into the cage. So if I put a stake there, I could also put it on the stake to give it some extra support, and I also need to trim some of this stuff off. So everything's this year in our wild year is kind of just gotten outrageous on it, and I just don't want any of my videos to make people think that. This tomato really surprised me. I wasn't expecting it. I'm a sucker for a name. Lots of times in the past though, especially with peppers, I can get into a name, end up trying to grow the plant, and maybe not like the pepper or the idea or something. We just basically plant as many unique things as we can, and being that we've done this this is our 10th season in this yard, being that we've done this for so many seasons, we've saw so many different varieties and stuff, and some of them that are hitting our yard, a lot of the peppers as well. I think the only really new one we're growing that we don't know something about is the Ahi Fantasy. But this is the Strawberry Lemonade Tomato. Was happy to have a revenge grow this year to be able to get something out of it. It's only a small victory because the plant wasn't really productive for us, but we did are able to save seeds. So we'll probably grow some from those and some from the couple that are left over from the ones we got. So normally I would, you know what I mean, I was thinking that this wouldn't be as good. I thought that maybe just the name had caught me off guard, and that's why it was here. Gave it a rematch this season, and so happy that I did. It had a surprising strong flavor to it for a pinkish style tomato like it was. So like I was saying, not sure about the genetics. It is from the Dwarf Tomato Project. This one might be a little bit easier to find than some of the other Dwarf Tomato Project tomatoes that it seemed to be out of stock or not being sold anymore. So the Strawberry Lemonade Tomato, see, this is all the same plant. So got to cut this scraggle off, but really sure and grow, really rich tomato, has a lot of zing to it, and really excited for it. Caught me off guard a little bit, and so happy it did. So something unique to see in the yard. July 30th of 2024. Love you guys, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching.